I'm really glad to see you this Shabbat. First of all, I missed you last week. I was in Clearwater Beach at a wedding. I was like a block away from where that guy got hit by lightning. If you heard about that, and that was frightening. And we didn't know about it. We had left the hotel to visit the aquarium where that dolphin that has the prosthetic tail is. I visited. I said hello to Winter for you, and we were driving back, and there were all of these ambulances and fire trucks that pushed us to the side of the road, and we sat down for lunch, and one of the groomsmen was at a table right near where they got hit. So we found out about it that way. And I don't know what's happened to the man, if he survived or not, but we're still praying for them. One man got hit by lightning. He was in his 40s, and he went into cardiac arrest and was in critical care still, last I'd heard. Somebody was brought for burn wounds, and there were 3 people with other injuries, and 3 other people who didn't want to go to the hospital, but that was scary. And we learned that, you know how they say you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than winning the lottery? Well, that's because apparently there's a 1 in 300,000 chance of getting struck by lightning. And I don't know 1 in 300,000 out of what, like anybody who is near lightning, or 1 in every 300,000 people. But if you think about it, I bet you've come in contact with 300,000 people in your life, and that's not as big a number as I thought it was going to be. Lottery chances are way, 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 way worse. Yeah, you can get hit by lightning multiple times before you could win the lottery. So that's if anybody believes in numbers and has any clue what I'm talking about when I give you those numbers, take cover in electrical storms. That's all I'm going to say. Take cover, because that was terrible, and it was right there. It was where the groom's party went to have. They went on a pirate ship on Friday. Arg. Clearwater Beach, just saying. And then they went to this restaurant for lunch, and that was Friday, though, and this was Sunday. So that's where I was last week, and I missed you very much. And everybody is very proud of your rabbi, I'm just going to say. They loved it. The couple who I married met when they were at Camp Coleman, which is in Georgia, and I did all kinds of things that I couldn't possibly have known about camp in Georgia. But I found out about these things about camp in Georgia. One of the people I spoke to at camp said that the groom had a special dance that he did, a line dance that was named after him because he invented it, and it goes to any song, and he couldn't remember it at all. So how good is that? But it was very sweet, and they send their love. This is the 3rd person in this family I have married. So we are a part of their family, just like you all are a part of their, both ways. It goes both ways. I got confused there. But we're back to Shabbat again, and I'm glad we're back to Shabbat. There's a lot that I want to talk about. I'm sorry to tell you that some of what's happened is triggered a little bit by this very bizarre Torah portion this week that made me do an awful lot of thinking about essentially what is our place in the world. How do we figure out what our place is in the world from the Torah portion? The Torah portion, I think, only in some ways confuses the situation. So I'm not going to talk about the Torah portion. I'll wait till the morning when we do our Torah study. But because it raised those questions, and there may be a few little tidbits I'll give you later that I think you'll want to think about this, and I want to continue a discussion later on. But the first thing we do is, so I told you a little bit about what happened to me this week, and I am very, very grateful to be at Shabbat. Very glad to be back at Shabbat. Not just because I'm with you, but because I needed a little rest. It's been a nonstop. We've had Camp Chai here all week. Yeah. We had the Tzofim, the Israeli Scouts, here yesterday. If Dr. Sam isn't good, I will show you video of him dancing with it. Yeah, see? I know. He's got to keep coming to serve. Patty David was an amazing dancer, but that didn't surprise us. Harriet Glazer was dancing with them. I've got Helene Bronick trying to do her moves with them. It was a really glorious, it was a great night. I mean, we had these 17-year-olds showing us how enthusiastic they can be and how important Israel is and making connections with each other, and it was a really fun night. So, and I have the videos and the pictures to prove it. It was really fun. So, but we do have that service at the other congregation for anybody who wants to go. I don't think that the Israeli Scouts are singing tonight. Otherwise, I would tell everybody, let's just go. I think they're just speaking about what they do. So I'm planning to go, and you're welcome to join me. But I would like everybody to get ready for Shabbat by taking a deep breath. Letting it out slowly. Try again. Let it out slowly. Okay, I need you to keep remembering to breathe, but I'm going to stop the breathing exercise. During the summer, we let everybody help with the blessings, so we are going to turn to page 82. The tradition is if you can stand and sit, please rise. We continue on page 82 as we bless the candles and welcome Shabbat this way. Please read with me. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. The translation for this blessing is at the bottom of the page if you need English. The transliteration is on the left-hand side. As you know, you can use that, but I'm going to do it in Hebrew with my eyes closed, so that's why I can't tell what you're doing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And you closed your eyes, and there were regular candles, and you open your eyes, and they're Shabbat candles. That's amazing. So then we turn to page 167 and 166. And on 167, we are going to say the line in Hebrew at the bottom of the page, and on 166, we're going to say it in English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei pori hagafen. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You call us to holiness with the mitzvah of Shabbat, the sign of your love, a reminder of your creative work and of our liberation from Egyptian bondage, our day of days. On Shabbat especially, we hearken to your call to serve you as a holy people. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat. L'chaim. That's a lot of grape juice. It's a new bottle. Will be good for tomorrow. Everybody who's coming tomorrow, it's a new bottle. You are welcome to be seated. If you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, Shabbat Shalom to someone you didn't come in with, Shabbat Shalom back there. And we are going to continue on page 84 as we welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat. When we welcome them, we talk about how they are Malache Elyon, which means highest. They come from up high. And we're going to thank them for being who is the King of the kings of the kings. The Holy One, blessed is God. And we're going to ask them to come in peace. We're going to ask them to bless us with peace. And we're going to ask them, when it's time, not yet, to leave in peace. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashem, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi the scouts were thrilled to see our Western Wall here. They did a whole presentation about how important Jerusalem was, and when they came in, they were thrilled, and they heard that these are stones that are really from Jerusalem, and they were thrilled. And every time I read this, I think about that, the fact that this synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel, born of our longing for the living God. It has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace.
Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said,
My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chay dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'miru, amen, yeshmei Rabbah mevarach, la'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemeh tikudisha, brichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'miru, amen. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, You cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you. Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Shema Yisrael. You may be seated. We're going to chant this on page 88. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeti Etchem Meretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem Emet. So, along with everyone having a place, some people have a place that's in a Hebrew-speaking, chanting service, and some people have a place in an English-speaking service. We're going to do both. The bottom of page 88, we read together. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words, which I command you this day, upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil, love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children.
We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me. We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you God our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la ya la la, la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledor b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Ya la 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 ya la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us the shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael va'al Yerushalayim. We praise you, God, because you put a sukkah of peace above us, above all your people Israel, above Jerusalem, va'al kol ha'olam, and all the world. We give thanks for the night and its rest, and the promise of peace for all the world. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Would you read that with me in English, please? The people of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath in every generation as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days the Eternal One made heaven and earth, but on the 7th day God rested and was refreshed. We rise for the tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Ve'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth, we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy.
God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days.
God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God. Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness. You are compassion. We give thanks to you forever. We read together below the Hebrew. God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha,
Take a moment for silent prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. We turn to page 162, and you know that dream that you have about how you have to show up to a final and you never took the class and now there's a test? That's what I'm doing to you right now because I forgot to tell you what you needed to know for this page. I usually let you know at the beginning of the service. We have a new month coming up, and on the calendar it says it's starting on Friday, but it starts on Friday, which means Thursday night and Friday. By the time Shabbat starts again next week, the day will be over. So Rosh Chodesh, the new month, Rosh Chodesh of the month of Av, the month of Av is Friday. So that's the stuff. So see, that's the kind of teacher I am. If you thought you hadn't studied for the test, I always do a quick review before the test, so hopefully you got this, okay? That's important to know. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us renewed good and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, and health, a life full of blessing, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Wondrous God, in ancient days you led our people from bondage to freedom. Redeem us now out of our exile from one another, making all Israel one united people. Rosh Chodesh Av, Yeh B'Yom Shishi. The new month, this is your part, the new month of Av will begin on Friday. We read together. God of holiness, let the new month bring for us and for the whole house of Israel life and peace, happiness and joy, deliverance and comfort. And let us say, Amen. Now our hearts and our prayer turn to those who are ill or recuperating as we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer book. And I'm going to turn off my microphone as I read off the names of the people for whom we are saying prayers. If you have other names you'd like us to include in our list, I invite you to please call them out. Yogi. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. We add, Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us. In this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve, give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say, Amen. So, everyone has a place, and do you have a clue what your place is? I feel good being here right now. I feel very good about that. But a lot of the things that happened this week in news and in the Torah portion made me think about what that means to have a place. And what does it mean to know that you have a home or a place where you belong, where by belong I don't mean, sit there. I mean where people welcome you in. So I have to talk. So for one thing, how many of you have been to Finland? Yay. Well, so let me tell you something that's happened. Do you think we belong in Finland? Do you have any desire to go back to Finland and live there? So let me tell you, I don't know if you heard about this, but I hadn't heard about it until today when I was looking up information for this. Do you know that the Israeli embassy in Finland has been attacked this week for the 15th time in the past 18 months? Did you hear about that? No. I don't feel like Finland is where we should be, but I don't know that that means we need to be getting out of Finland either. Just because they keep attacking us doesn't mean that we shouldn't be a presence there. I think that the people who are attacking us maybe shouldn't be in Finland. But I don't think that we shouldn't be there just because they're attacking us. In the same news article, which was a breakdown of things that have happened recently in the Jewish world, it said that, listen to what I'm saying first, don't anybody get upset just because I tell you this, but 1,400 Jewish clergy signed a petition supporting asylum seekers. 1,400 Jewish clergy signed a petition supporting asylum seekers this week. I was not one of them. And it's not because I would or wouldn't have signed it. I was never even asked, because one of the places where I am, where I belong, is a place where I am not part of any rabbinic organization, none. On one hand, they wouldn't want me, believe it or not. And on another hand, I feel like a little bit like what Groucho Marx said about I don't think that I would want to be part of a club where they would want me in it. But they don't ask. Last time they asked me to sign a petition, they sent me an email. This is a couple of years ago. There was some civil rights issue that had come up, and they asked all of the rabbis of the Southeast Conference, we call it, to sign some kind of a petition. And I said, do you really want me to sign? Because I'm not a member of the Reform Rabbis organization. And they said, oh, no, sorry, you can't sign it. Like, well, how ridiculous is that? Why wouldn't they want me to sign it? I'm a rabbi at one of the charter Reform congregations in this country. Why wouldn't they want me to sign it? What's wrong with my signature on a piece of paper for that? So they didn't ask me to sign this. So if you see the news about how 1,400 Jewish clergy signed a petition supporting asylum seekers, you may be very proud of those rabbis, or you may be very angry at those rabbis, but I'm not any of those rabbis. And it's not because you would be proud or not proud of me, but I'm not even asked to be part of that. And that's part of where do I belong and what's my place. I am not unhappy being in a place where I am not asked to be part of those organizations. every once in a while I try to think of a reason why I should be part of a rabbi's organization, and then I go, So this week there were two big things that happened in the Torah portion, and it also made me wonder about where our place is. One is, at the end of last week's Torah portion, and thanks, Mom, for covering last week for me, but at the end of last week's Torah portion, we have a very problematic scene, and it is a very vivid scene, and I won't go into lots of details because there are minors here, but let's just say there was a man and a woman. There was a Jewish man and a not Jewish woman, and yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. But they weren't supposed to be together. And there's reasons, because the Jewish woman was actually a pagan trying to convince the Jewish guy to do pagan things. That was bad, and it pushes God's button every time someone tries to do those things in the Torah. That's what happens. And so last week, there was a Kohen, a guy named Pinchas, and he stopped the Jewish man and the non-Jewish woman from doing what they were doing in a very violent way. And this week, and that ends it, right? We think that's over. But this week we start up with that same story. This guy Pinchas gets rewarded with something called a Brit Shalom, a covenant of peace. And so there's something about that. When someone gets violent, even for a good cause, sometimes it's stressful. It's stressful. We have to think about, where do we feel about that? Where are we what's our place in all of this? What would we have done? And so I can tell you, there are some rabbis now. Do you know that in our community right now, I think as of this moment, with this snapshot, if I give you a quick snapshot of the B'nai Zion Agudath Achim Community Religious School, 100% of the families have at least one parent who was not born Jewish. 100% of the religious school have a family where at least one of the parents was not born Jewish. 100%. Are you listening? 100% of our school. And so there are some people who look at this and they say, well, that's not good. Are they complaining because it's a Jewish guy and a non-Jewish woman? And so they've created this kind of new holiday. They've created this new kind of a holiday where they're calling this Thank Your Interfaith Families Week. If you are an interfaith family and you are here at services, thank you. Thank you for being here, because you don't have to be here, and we're glad that you're here. And we're glad that those families are sending their kids to religious school here, because that's a blessing to us. There were lots of years where people would send them away and say, nope, you can't do that here. I think, where is your place? I'd like to think that your place is also here. I want you to feel welcome. That's what I would like. So there are some rabbis who call this Thank Your Interfaith Couples Week. So thank you. I didn't find that bad. I found the opposite bad. And then the other thing that happens is they divvy up the land. So the land of Israel, it says, is the inheritance for the children of Israel from God. And it's divided up very kind of democratically, that the size of the tribe determines the size of the land you're going to have. But how do they decide if you get the water chunk or the mountain chunk? Just like Purim, where they throw lots, they do lots. And that's how they decide who gets which chunk. So there's a part of it that is based on how big you are, and a part of it that's, how large your tribe is, and a part of it that's kind of arbitrary, so nobody can complain. It wasn't like somebody was favoring somebody else. And so that's all a good thing. But then there are these 5 women, Tzalafachad's daughters. Tzalafachad, you're supposed to say, that's easy for you to say, Rabbi. Tzalafachad. His daughters said, you know what? Our father died, and he had no sons. And you're only talking about an inheritance thing here, where if a man has a son, then the son inherits the portion that he was given when you threw the lots out. What about my dad's portion, our dad's portion? And Tzalafachad's daughters, unlike most women in the Torah, they each have names. They name all 5 of these women, which is a pretty cool thing in the Torah. And they go to Moses, they do all the right things, and they go to Moses and they say, Moses, our dad died. He wasn't one of those rebels from a few weeks ago where they complained of all the things that God has been doing. They didn't challenge it. He just regular death. How come he doesn't get to have an inheritance? And Moses said, well, that's a good question. I'll ask God. And Moses asked God, and Moses comes back and says, Zelophehad's daughters are correct. If a father dies and has no sons, then the daughters will inherit. And when I read that every year, I am thrilled. I feel like it is the kind of Judaism that I love. I feel like it's the kind that includes people. I feel like women have a voice, and I feel great. A few paragraphs later, it turns out that the men start grumbling, and they say, well, what if a woman marries somebody from a tribe that's not the tribe that they came from? So now where does that land go? You can't really let that tribe have our land. What are we supposed to do? So the men gathered, and they said, well, it means the women have to marry somebody in their tribe. And the women were saying, yay, and then the women were saying, really? Well, okay, at least we still get to inherit. So tomorrow I want to talk a little bit about what that means, because in a nutshell, we'll talk more details, but in a nutshell, a lot of what's happened over the millennia about that inheritance law makes me not cheer. That as time went on, the men who were making the decisions took away more and more rights for the women to be able to inherit. And I forget that part of Judaism. I try not to look at that part of Judaism. La, 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 la. I can't hear it because it's not the Judaism that I love. It's not the Judaism I know. My Judaism says women are allowed to stand here and be rabbis. They're not prohibited from inheriting things. My Judaism says, I know this surprises some of the young kids in our congregation. It may surprise you too. Men are allowed to be rabbis too. I had one kid who says, you mean boys can be rabbis too? Yes. In our world, in my Judaism, women can be rabbis or men can be rabbis. In my Judaism, everybody has equal rights to being able to inherit, for example, which is what the Torah portion is about, that we have equal rights. That's what I see. So I struggle. Which is the Judaism? Where do we belong? I love that Reform Judaism not just allows us to, but obligates us to look at the laws and interpret them so that they have meaning to us. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes that stresses some people out, that it's not, this is what you do. But let me tell you, we don't live very well with a this is what you do. I think everybody here tonight drove to services. And in the world where they tell you this is what you do, you couldn't drive to services. And then you wouldn't be here tonight with me, and it would make me very sad. I even drove to services, and I live right across the street because I wanted to be here with you. And I love that we get to interpret our Judaism. And I love that we get to figure out which Judaism, where we are on the spectrum, and where we fit in. And I'm going to tell you one other thing, and the thing that I only learn when I go away occasionally is I love that our congregation is such a welcoming and warm and inviting and allowing people to be able to be on the spectrum like this. So, for example, you could be the kind of person who wished your clergy had signed the petition, or the kind of person who wished your clergy would not sign the petition, or you would be someone who wants to talk about it or forbid it or whatever. We are all part of this congregation, and I love that about us. And not every congregation lets that happen. So that's my place, and I hope you find your place. And I hope that even when it swiggles a little, because first they say, yes, you can inherit, and then they say, well, maybe not. I hope you still keep talking the talk so we can find our place. Madam Vice President, guess what your place is tonight? Because somehow the president, his place is not at the pulpit. He went away. Some people do that.
So you get me, and that's not bad.
Nice. We're glad we're in the right place tonight.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Jewish Federation's Camp Chi will continue Monday through Friday this next week. They've had a wonderful first week. Right, kids?
Right, Lang? Right, Patty? Right, Morgan?
Yeah.
She's the director. We have a whole contingency here today. Great
B'nai
job.
Zion is volunteering at the food bank on July 30th. They're going to begin at 9 a.m. If you're interested in helping, please RSVP online or in the office if you think you can do so.
Or just come.
Or just,
It's
I
just come.
guess, yeah. This Wednesday, you are invited to join Rabbi Jana in her discussions about the ethical dilemmas from a Jewish perspective from 2 to 3 in the Tower of the Oaks. Next Friday will be our Simcha Shabbat, where we will be honoring and blessing and giving gifts to everyone with birthdays or anniversaries in August. Details will be becoming available this week about the Friday Film Fest movies after services and Rabbi Jana's adult Hebrew classes in August. Donations were made to B'nai Zion or for pulpit flowers in memory of Minnie Manassas from the Lewis and McGovern families, in memory of Sam Rubenstein from David and Sue Rubenstein, and in memory of Elaine Toys from Goldie Maris and Sharon and Elliot Goldman.
Thank you. We now turn to page 148, and if you're under the age of 13, would you come up and help me open the ark, please? That means you guys, back row, come on. Everyone else, please rise. Look who's back. Nice. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגוי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And on the facing page we sing, V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemu echad. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. So I want to point something out as we turn to page 151. There are people here tonight who are in their Shiva or Shloshim period. And I want to remind you that there are mourning customs and traditions that on Shabbat, the mourning customs are suspended. So one of the ways they describe that is if, let's say you went to a congregation where they had services every day, then you find yourself sitting in the same seat forever, every single day. But if you're in mourning for a parent or a spouse or a loved one, then during the week you don't sit in your regular seat. But on Shabbat you get to be back in your regular seat. It doesn't mean that you're not mourning. It just means that the type of mourning that you show everyone else is allowed to be suspended for Shabbat. It's supposed to be helpful. I want to point out that we have another loss in our military this week. We lost Sergeant William Fries. He was 30. He was from Rockport, West Virginia. He died in Kuwait. He was serving during Operation Inherent Resolve. We've lost 21 military this year. We've lost 68 police officers. There's 2 new officers who died this week. We've added 2 canine officers to the list of who's lost their lives in the line of duty this year, and we lost another 2 firefighters this week. and the line of duty. May we always be grateful for those people who run into dangerous situations to keep us safe and give us the freedoms that we have always enjoyed. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We will continue on the bottom of 153, but I wanted to share this prayer this poem that is not in the book we have. It's in the New Reform Prayer Book. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your love has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember these brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We continue on page 153. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us the past 30 days. We remember Steve Wright. We remember Isabel Posner. And Donald, we're sorry for your loss. And we remember Paula Sauer. And Ben, we're sorry for your loss. We remember congregants' parents who died within the past year. We remember Joe Batt and Peter Haas and Lucy Branis. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzeit this week include Mary G. Abramson, Arthur Annisman, Clifford Bear, Philip A. Bergman, Florence Goldberg, Fanny B. Helprin, A. Adler Hirsch, Marshall C. Keith, Minnie P. Manasseh, Bertha O. Miller, Ida B. Rosen, Sam Rubenstein, Netta Murphy Shaw, Lisa Weber Shields, Barbara Weiss Simon, Paris Simon, Wilhelmina Sauer, and Elaine Toys. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The mourner's Kaddish is found on page 154, and the translation is found on page 155. If it is your tradition to do so, we join our voices with the mourners. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayei chon u'v'yomei chon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha barichu, la'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. I would like to call up anyone who is involved with Camp Chai this week. If you are involved with Camp Chai, would you come up, please, and help us with the motzi? Because I know you got it in you. You got it? I think we know it. Hold on. They're very nervous up here. It's just bread. It won't bother. No, I'm just kidding. Go. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. b'te'avon. All right, you grab the bread, I grab the plate. Grab, grab, grab. There's more challah out there for everybody else. If you didn't go to Camp Chai, we didn't want you to feel left out. Please rise for the closing benediction. It's a blessing to be together. Thank you for making this a place where we can come to when we're happy, when we're sad, when we have joys to share, problems. Anytime, we're glad to be here. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace. Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Bim bam bim bim.